2019. If you're not familiar with Final Order Cutoff, I'll do my usual speech on this. Final Order Cutoff is the last chance we retailers get every Monday to adjust the orders for comic books that are coming out 3 weeks from now. That would be mainly comics that will be on sale on October.
Orders are due October 7th.
Yeah. I believe that would be October 30th, actually. Oh, the day before Halloween. So really cool, perfect timing for that. This is your chance, that means, as you listen to us, to leave a message in the comments, to call us at the store, to swing by, or otherwise contact us however you desire and get any finalized orders in. Because if you finalize these orders with us before Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it will allow us to get you any specific cover you want, any quantity of them you want. If you want 50 copies of the hot new book that you think is going to be really an amazing flip or an amazing story to read, we can take care of that for you as long as you get these orders in before we get them to the publishers on Monday. So with that note, you can follow along at home if you have the chance. Go to previewsworld.com/finalordersdue, and you can see all of the information that we're currently seeing and talking about as we do this. We're going to do our best to try and have as little technical difficulties and make this a much shorter video this time around, as we know they've been lengthy in the past. So we're only going to spotlight specific brand new key issues, number ones, and other things that we feel should bring your attention. But once again, previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. We will get a link eventually in the comment section, and you can see everything that will be on Final Order Cutoff on Monday. Anything you want to add on that?
I was just going to say, speaking of spotlight, don't try to adjust your monitors. His head actually does glow. It's a superpower.
Right there, buddy. Right there. So, all right, let's start off the titles with DC. How's that sound? DC, a good way to start? Or actually, no, let's go with Boom. Boom, yeah, Boom. All right.
Start at the beginning.
Yeah, so we're going to just give a quick one on this. Giant Days is a popular series by a former Disney creator that is coming up on its FOC for its final issue, which is going to be a number one-shot. So if you're a fan of John Allison or Max Sarin, you already know the story of Giant Days. Now's the time to get your order in for the final issue. This wraps it all up. A decade of awesome stories wrapped up. Anything else for Boom we want to talk about? I mean, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Just that cover from Mighty Morphin Power.
Yeah, foil cover of the Black Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 45, part of the wonderful Necessary Evil storyline. I'm actually wearing a Shattered Grid Power Rangers cover right now.
Especially if you're trying to put together that set of those covers.
Yeah.
I want to get that last one.
Yeah, and then on top of that, of course, there's later printings of Jim Henson's Dark Crystal storyline. Moving on to Dark Horse, big one I have to bring up because it's my son's favorite Disney movie, Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's getting a new comic series from Ariel's perspective through the classic film.
One shot from Hellboy.
Yeah,
new one shot there. The Hellboy and the BPRD Long Night at Goloski Station.
Yeah, it's Mike Mignola writing it, which is always a pleasure. The creator of Hellboy actually doing, all of the writing on this, not somebody else hopping in.
These are always just fun books to read. Whether you're a longtime Hellboy collector or new to it, one-shots are a great way to jump on.
Yeah, it's a standalone issue, too. It's a quiet night in a rundown Russian train station in Goloski. And it turns out to be a demon battle for Hellboy, where when 3 sinister interlopers come into passing at this train station. I'm hyped on it. I always love the October Hellboy one-shots or the Christmas Hellboy one-shots. So can't go wrong. It's Mike Mignola writing, Matt Smith on art. It's going to be good. And I think Mignola cover.
Yep, definitely. Mm-hmm. I always love his artwork, so it's a classic.
Yeah. Moving on to DC. It's a nice, simple week this week, but this one's going to be a big one. If you're familiar with Joe Hill, you know that he is Stephen King's son. Yes, the popular horror author Stephen King. Joe Hill has done some amazing things like Nosferatu, which is now a television series on, I believe, FX.
Yep, and Lock and Key, which is going to be a TV series.
Yeah, Lock and Key is going to be a Netflix series and was a great IDW comic. Joe has been part of the comic scene for, I'd say it's got to be over a decade now. It's got to be around 11 years that he's been writing comics. And he's got a big new line at DC Comics called Hill House, which will be lines of books that he's either writing or curating the creative teams and storylines for. And the big one that is on FOC this week is
Basket of Heads. Actually, this is all going under the DC Black Label as well, which is really cool. This is what I've personally been waiting for the DC Black Label to become. I obviously love the superhero stories and things like that we've all grown up with, but these horror stories are really popular right now. And the Black Label is a perfect venue for those to be published in a darker, more adult genre. So I'm looking forward to this. They do have, if you want to see the cover, this little preview. This is actually the last one in the store.
Yeah, so
you got to come at the front counter.
That.
You can come check it out. They got a couple pages out of here. Basically, it's about the story of a couple that has a home invasion, and the husband goes missing, and then the wife ends up finding a old Viking axe that I guess has magical powers.
Yeah.
And so that sounds like a lot of fun. Apparently, when it cuts off the person's head, the head doesn't actually die. So,
bag full of talking heads, not a, well, I guess a basket full of talking
heads.
You know,
which is where the story starts. She's trying to chuck one off a bridge to get rid of the talking head, and it's kind of comical but also dark. So I'm looking forward to it, and they have an amazing Joshua Middleton B cover on that. So definitely check it out. Make sure you get that order in.
Yeah, give us a heads up if you want specific covers, as always, on these type of things. If you want to place an order, you know, something like the Joshua Middleton cover, I think it's going to be a quick sellout. Though Reiko Murakami also did a cover that looks pretty creepy. I'm going to throw out there.
And the Hill House line is actually going to have, I think they have 6 titles lined up already for it.
Yeah, they do. They're all miniseries.
Yeah, this little book previews 3 of them, so it's a good thing to pick up. It's free. Yeah. I don't know. Are you getting more in?
Last one. We can't get any more. That's the end of them. So, you know, rush in and get it, or give us a call. We'll set it aside for you. But yeah, it looks exciting. October 30th, right before Halloween, just in time for your horror night. You can be reading some amazing new Joe Hill comics.
And I think issue 1 is also going to have a backup story to preview one of the upcoming stories. It's called Sea Dogs. So there's that as well. You're going to get a little preview of what to expect from this line, which is cool.
Yeah. So moving on with DC, let's see what we got. Deceased has some beautiful covers.
6.
Final issue Deceased has 3 amazing covers. One just stunning one by Mark Brooks. There's the traditional Matina, and then, of course, the horror movie homage cover. So if you want a specific one, or especially if you want multiple covers, now is the time to tell me. If you want all 3 covers, or you want the Matina and the Brooks, or you want 50 copies of that unbelievably beautiful Brooks cover, now is the time to tell me.
And this is the culmination of that entire run, too. So you definitely can expect something big to happen in it. I find it really funny, though, that the dollar book from DC this week is the one we were talking about last week, just off chance, the Superman number 75.
Yeah, the Superman. Death of Superman.
So if yours is still in the bag like mine, come in and pick up $1.
Oh, dude, I mean, I don't know if you remember back when Superman 75 came out. I remember waiting in line for like an hour to get that damn book. People were paying ridiculous prices for it. I remember there was a period where like people were talking about it being $150, $175, $200 book. People were going to put their kids through college with that thing. And well, that's not the case. If you need an actual Superman 75, we have them still sealed in the black bag in the bins, as well as some out that are later printings. But at $1, I mean, I own 3 different versions of this book. I'll buy the dollar book, you know, it's just a quick read, you know. It's a fun one, especially to get us all prepped for the upcoming From the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman that we talked about last week. I'm excited about that. That's only 2 weeks away now, and this will get you all prepped for it. You can read the original story, and then you can read the Dark Multiverse version.
Last God. This one looks really interesting. Matthias knows more about this one than I do, but it definitely looks like it's based in role-playing and Dungeons and Dragons. The cover's what really grabbed my attention, and then I started reading about it. This looks like an exciting book, especially if you're into the fantasy lore and Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. But I'll let Matthias give more details on that. Yeah,
it's Philip Kennedy Johnson who's going to be writing this. I'm super excited about this. He's done things like Last Sons of America, Warlords of Appalachia, Aquaman. But this is a really intense sci-fi story. I mean, like Conan-esque, like world built, you know, like gods. It's set in 2 different timelines, 30 years apart, of people on the same quest. I mean, and if it feels Dungeons and Dragons and looks Dungeons and Dragons, well, let me tell you, it actually is going to be Dungeons and Dragons, because there are going to be additional books coming out that have every single character, race, and concept stats for 5th edition. So if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, this is a must-own piece, because it's going to have all those 5e stats, so you can, if you like this story, play this story out in your own Dungeons and Dragons campaign, add this concept or, you know, weapons, items, characters into your pre-existing 5e campaigns. And otherwise, if you're like me and you're, you know, more of a Pathfinder and you're not playing Dungeons and Dragons, you can still enjoy an absolutely amazing story with beautiful artwork. I've got a chance to read the first 3 issues already. The artwork is insane. The story is awesome. It hooks you in. This is going to kind of sound dark. I'm enjoying it more than I'm enjoying the Marvel Conan stuff, and I'm loving the Marvel Conan stuff. So good one to hop in on. Make sure you get your orders in. There's 2 amazing covers on that one. So there is a cardstock variant and a normal one. They're just $5 a piece.
The covers are stunning too. So
yeah.
Like I said, that's what drew my attention to it, the title, and then the solicit pretty much sold me on it.
We'll do a quick, really brief one here. Mad Magazine issue 11 is going to have new content in it. It's going to be the 20 stupidest or dumbest thing, people, things, and all that. The normal end of the year Mad Magazine thing they did. But I know a lot of people run the impression Mad Magazine is coming to an end of new content. We're at least getting one more issue of new content with number 11 at the end of this year. Technically, I'm told that we get some new content in issue number 12 too. So if you're a Mad fan, that's the issue to get.
I believe number 10 was the last one for sure that they went to newsstand with it.
Yes.
So the rest
it's hard to say exactly what's going on. I don't know.
At least
what
that's how they
doing.
solicited that.
Yeah, 10 was supposed to be the final issue, but I can tell you, I talked to the guys at DC. 11 is all new original content. Talking to the guys at DC, the Sandman universe books have been blowing up, whether you're reading The Dreaming, Lucifer, House of Whispers, they're all great. But now they're about to introduce a very key figure, a figure who had one of my favorite issues of Neil Gaiman's original Sandman back in issue number 3, I believe it was. The great John Constantine. Hellblazer is getting a one-shot that will eventually lead into a new ongoing series set in the DC universe and the Sandman universe. So that one's really, really cool. It's Cy Spurrier writing it. It has 2 awesome covers. I'm really hyped on it. Once again, and I don't repeat this enough, you can find this all at previewsworld.com/finalordersdue. We'll have a link in the comments soon enough. So that's a fun one. Anything else, DC, we really need to bring up? Or
Well, let's point out that the Wildcats 3 is not actually supposed to be on there.
Yeah, if you go to the Previews World website, Wildcats 3 is listed. Unfortunately, that is not actually on Final Order Cutoff, the whole entire series, because obviously we don't have issue number 1 or 2 out yet. It's been delayed. Hopefully we'll see that in 2020. And of course, there's the Watchmen Companion with all the side Watchmen stuff if you need that.
We can actually just start taking bets of which one will come out first. Wildcats or Watchmen? How many times are they going to postpone them?
Yeah, their Doomsday Clock. I'm going to put my bet down right here. Doomsday Clock. I got insider information. It's going to wrap up this year.
Finally going to finish it.
Yeah, but Wildcats. Who knows? I mean, I want it to happen though. I love the Wildcats. So skip over Dynamite. That's all new forward stuff you're all familiar with. IDW has Kanto number 3.
Number 3 is the second printing. We got a lot of second printings coming up, which is pretty good. Amber Blake, if you missed those, that's hitting its trade paperback as well.
Magic the Gathering has a brand new miniseries, and this one has one of my favorite writers on it. Jim Zub is going to be doing Chandra's Trials of Alara. So our classic Planeswalker Chandra, the Pyromancer, is going to be on the plane of Alara, which we really haven't seen in ages. And Jim Zub writing it, that could not be more awesome. I am super, super hyped. Except I just found out it is going to be pushed off Final Order Cutoff this week. So we just talked it up for no reason. But Kanto number 3 second printing, because we're going to have David Booher in here signing in just a few weeks.
Definitely for catching up on the reading, but on top of that, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 16th printings of all these things from the indie books are on fire. So they are becoming collectible because each time they do a printing, it shrinks the numbers of that print and run. So
and new covers too.
Don't shy away from it. New cover art, and a lot of them are fantastic looking. I guess we'll wrap up the IDW with TMNT, the ongoing run. It hits issue 99.
Yeah.
Don't want to miss that. Don't wait for number 100, which is going to be the big culmination of the story.
And we actually get the showdown between Donatello and Metalhead in this too. So that's kind of cool.
This is not one to miss. This is part 7 of the City at War. But don't wait for number 100 if you're just thinking you're going to jump on and get something that's going to be a collectible. You should be reading these all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if you're waiting for 100, you've already missed the first appearance of Jenica as the 5th turtle and the first female turtle to join the TMNT squad. She's got a nice little yellow bandana. We got copies and various printings over at the wall, so make sure you grab that.
I like her claws.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jenica, she was a badass assassin from her first appearance in issue 51, so I'm hyped to see where this goes, especially leading into 100.
Got those Street Fighter 2 Vega claws.
Yeah. See, the weird thing is, I just think of that as Enter the Dragon. What were the?
I was trying to make it more relatable to not everyone watching this is old like we are.
Hey, man, Enter the Dragon is classic Bruce Lee.
It is, but
Yeah. So, speaking of things that are related to time and traveling, if you haven't read Mark Millar's Chrononauts, oh my God, I need to change your life. It is two bros. I mean, bros, like, dude, bro, that all of a sudden have access to time travel. Chrononauts, it was a hilarious miniseries that Mark Millar did a while back. I'm hoping Netflix is going to be picking it up for a series with the contract they have with Mark Millar. But what I'm super happy about is we're finally getting a sequel in 3 weeks from now, October 30th. We're going to get Chrononauts Future Shock, a new 4-issue miniseries where the bros are back and they're going to be going into the future this time. These time traveling dudes are just, if you like Bill and Ted, this is Bill and Ted for the modern era. It is just hilarious.
I was just going to say, I was going to make a comment about Bill and Ted, but I was waiting for you to finish up.
Yeah, but no, it's the original creative team. Mark Millar is back. I'm super hyped on it. Like, Chrononauts is freaking hilarious. Apparently, it looks like it's going to be a weekly series too. So hop on now.
Yep. Dead Eyes is hitting a second print.
So is Cobra.
Die number 8 is hitting the second print.
That's always a good one. Was there a new cover for Die number 8? Yes, there was.
Yeah,
a color alteration, on that cover. It's still the dagger.
Then you have the Philadelphia, which is a new book from Image. This is sorry, I'm choking on my words there. Jason Sean Alexander, who from the Spawn series, is
he did that
the one doing the artwork
cover
on this. They do have an issue of this coming out, I think, just shortly before or after. I guess it's the week before for the local comic book day.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, the local comic book day should release the same week. I believe it's the same week. I think we just had the order cut off early.
The order cutoff was last week.
Yeah.
But this one looks interesting. It's kind of plays on that horror motif. Where
actually, I should point out, this one actually doesn't release October 30th. It releases November 27th. I don't know why they needed the lead time on that order, but they do.
That makes more sense because I do remember the local comic book one was, I think, earlier than this. It's just kind of like if you wanted to check it out before getting into the series and getting the main cover A. But again, this one, playing off the horror motif, it follows around a Philadelphia cop who's murdered his son, James Sangster Jr., comes back home and discovers his father is murdered and starts to unravel this mystery. And it's not just your normal murder mystery. There's apparently vampires involved. So I actually did look ahead to issue number 2. The cover for that looks really cool. It's got this vampire fangs thing going on.
Well, I mean, for horror, Jason Alexander is a great artist. And I mean, we don't get to see his interiors very often. He's normally covers. So it'll be really cool to see this. I mean, think about those badass Spawn covers as every single page in the story. And then for, some of our customers out there who happen to be named George Sangster, I mean, how often do you see your name in a comic? Perfect time to call you out directly on this live stream and convince you to buy this comic.
So we've already added like 10 copies into your pull list, George.
Yeah. I'm going to really bring up La Voz de Mayo Rambo because that is a good friend, Henry Barajas, who is writing that one. It is a graphic novel. It is $17. It is a really cool piece. I've been excited about it. I don't know if you guys caught the flyers on our free table to help promote it, but it's a resonant, neglected slice of American history brought to life thanks to these guys as we basically deal with. I'm just going to read this, Alyssa. Let's just go with that. It is a World War II veteran who co-founded the Mexican-American Yaqui and other organization, Mayo, which successfully lobbied the Tucson City Council to improve living and working conditions for members of Pascua Yaqui tribe, paving the way to their federal recognition. But in the story, we also get Ramon's home life that suffered as his focus was pulled away from his family for the wider community. And the domesticity to the adrenaline of the campaign. It's going to be an interesting, slice of life story that actually has some true history behind it. Henry is always a very, powerful guy when it comes to talking and selling us stuff. He works at Top Cow wonderfully. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this. It should be exciting.
I'm pretty sure part of you wanting to just talk about that was just to say the title of the book several times.
Yeah, La Voz de Mayo, or Tata Rambo.
If you follow him on his own personal Facebook page, you would know he's been wanting to speak something even remotely that's not English, even I guess if it's just the title of a book.
Mi español es muy mal. I'm going to get Caesar in here correcting me, saying it's fucking horrible, because that's not even how you would say it's bad. Yeah. Nomen Omen is getting a second printing. I mean, if you didn't read Nomen Omen, like, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Come in here and pick that up. I talked it up so hard on Wednesday's live stream. I love it. Reaver is getting second printings. We're going to get the final issue of Ride Burning Desires. Safe Sex is getting a second issue. Once again, I talked this up to no end. I love both of those books, so make sure you get those in. If you want to grab Walking Dead volumes 1 through 32, tell me, because I will do a special deal for anyone watching this live stream. You message me before Monday. If you are willing to commit to all 32 volumes, which is the full run of Walking Dead, I will price it at a very special, specific price that's going to save you a ton of money. So, yeah.
My finger didn't go.
Yeah, your fingers are completely off camera. Yeah. So, all right, moving on to Marvel, the big one, which actually doesn't have a lot to talk about this week. I mean, a lot of its continuing series you guys know about, everything from Black Panther and Conan, Contagion.
Final issue of Dead Man Logan.
Yeah, obviously, which is the big wrap-up of, is Dead Man Logan going to be dead, or is Old Man Logan going to be killed?
From the reviews of the comic, definitely they're killing him off,
Okay.
which is good. But sounds like it's a very fair send off. I can't speak today.
Yeah.
The one I wanted to discuss, though, is the Excalibur. That's going to be the big book from Marvel coming up for this FOC.
Yeah, spinning out of House of X and Powers of 10.
Yep. Psylocke takes the mantle of Captain Britain.
Which is long overdue, because, I mean, I grew up reading that in the 1980s. I still have my Captain Britain magazines I got as a kid, you know, where she became Captain Britain the first time.
And her team, this is what's really, I mean, it just, if that wasn't enough.
A team that doesn't belong in England, I'll throw that out.
You got Rogue, Gambit, Richter, Jubilee, and Apocalypse. This is going to be a good book to read.
Like,
Teenie Howard's writing it.
Let's focus on that last bit. I mean, because, you know, Rogue's Rogue. Everyone loves Rogue. Gambit, you know, the Louisiana, you know, Rogue, which is weird to say right after Rogue. We have Richter, who recently has revealed that he is gay in X Factor. Jubilee, who's always Jubilee. She's a former vampire. She has a kid that's not hers. She's taken care of. And Apocalypse?
Yeah,
that's a big one.
That one I didn't expect.
Yeah, that's different from everything. Like, one of these things is not like the other.
Off cover A for that purpose.
Yeah, but oh man, so there's gonna be a lot of cool covers for that. Make sure you get your cover choices in. They're not all listed on previewsworld.com/final orders due. Got that in there. But yeah, talk to us if you want to see the covers. We'll probably have them up on Knowhere Comics, our Facebook group, which if you're on watching this live stream, I'm hoping you're in that. If not, search Knowhere Comics. It's a Facebook group where we talk about all this fun stuff. You get everything that we're talking here with far more people and no video or voice to be annoyed by.
And if you're reading Powers and House of X and you're wondering which ones of the, you know, the spin-off X books should you be reading, I really can't give an answer to that other than based on what I'm seeing in the solicits and the way that this book is ending, the series is ending, is that they're all going to be still kind of at least tied together at the beginning, because they're going to all link back to that Powers and House. So I'm personally going to pick up issue 1 of each one of them. They're not all, thankfully, all coming out on the same week. It's one a week.
Once a week, yeah.
And so that way you can choose, you know, at that point, I think would be a good way to determine which series you're going to continue on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super hyped about this. I could not be happier about the idea. It was already a great moment, in my opinion, when we got the Psylocke body away from Betsy Braddock. We went back to the Betsy Braddock I grew up with, but then her becoming Captain Britain is really, really cool. The part that super excites me on this, aside from Apocalypse being with her, is Teenie Howard writing it. She just wrote the Great Thanos miniseries. She's been writing a lot of amazing things. And then the bigger part is Marcus Toe doing interior arts. I love Marcus Toe. He is a brilliant artist. Often worked with Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, who we're both having in signing later this month. But yeah, he is a brilliant artist. His interior should be great on this. He is just renowned at drawing teenagers, young women, awesome action, you know. So like, this is a perfect book for him, I feel.
Yeah. And they're not going heavy on the variant covers either, which is nice on any of these. There's obviously a multitude of, you know, covers for them, but it's not your 20 covers deep. I think sticking around 4 or 5.
Which we're going to change that option as we talk about Marvel Zombies, because Marvel Zombies has a number of great covers, though the big one being by In-Hyuk Lee. And actually also is being written by the same guy who wrote The Last God, Philip Kennedy Johnson, which I'm super hyped about. Leonard Kirk, an old friend of mine, is going to be doing the interior artwork. It should be cool. It's one of the one shots they're doing for the 80th anniversary of Marvel, but Marvel Zombies again, and it's a simple, $4 you get the book, you can't go wrong on that. $5 you get the book. And it's Marvel Zombies. Everyone loves Marvel Zombies. It's the same reason all of you are reading Deceased. So if you're reading that book, you should be reading this book. If you've read Marvel Zombies before, you should be reading Deceased, and you'll definitely be picking up this.
Which I find funny because the commentary I see online is Marvel Zombies, they're just ripping off Deceased. But when Deceased came off, they're like, they're just ripping off Marvel Zombies. It's like Marvel did it first, and it's just coming full circle.
Who watches online commentary?
No one. That's why we have, I don't know, we can't see how many viewers are watching right now.
We got a couple right now. We have it off tab.
But anyway, so yeah, Marvel Zombies is classic. There's only 3 covers actually, so it's not that.
Oh yeah, okay. So in Lee, there's the Bradshaw and Jung-Goon.
You can
Jung-Goon
butcher that one. I wasn't gonna touch it.
Do you want to talk about one of your favorite topics, symbiote?
This one is not a symbiote though. It's the red goblin.
How is that not a symbiote?
Because it takes place before the symbiote story.
Well, okay, it takes place before the Carnage, story, but that is the Carnage symbiote currently on
Technically, yes, true.
So, if you haven't realized what we're talking about yet, it is Red Goblin in a new series, Red Goblin, Red Death.
So, yeah, if you're familiar with the end of the, well, not the end, but the late portion of the 700s of the I can't talk at all today. Amazing Spider-Man, where the Goblin fuses with the Carnage symbiote and becomes the Red Goblin. Everyone's been waiting to see where he went, when's he coming back, and then we get the Carnage series, which everyone expected that to be the Red Goblin, and we get Osborn, which has been a great series. But what happened to the Red Goblin between that and then, and how did Osborn get separated from the symbiote? So basically, this is that story. It's going back, it looks like, based on the solicit. It's going to tell that time when he was the Red Goblin, and we haven't seen what's been going on between the two. So excited to get into that.
And we're stealing Patrick Gleason over from DC to write it, so it should be cool. It's getting a number of writers and artists, actually. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I don't know why I can't talk today. Just to kind of wrap things up here, you have the end of the Silver Surfer Black run. If you've been reading that, that's not get your
Mary Jane variant with Mary Jane on a Silver Surfer or Silver Surfboard.
I believe then we have, let's do One True Believers real quick. X-Men, the origins of Moira McTaggart.
I think it's the first appearance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not origin, sorry, first appearance of Moira McTaggart.
Yeah, from X-Men 96, like 2 issues into the modern X-Men, So
cool. She's a key to the House and Powers of X. Yeah. Venom 19, that's going to be a big one. Everyone's been waiting to see what is happening to Dylan.
Yeah.
God, I don't know where my brain is today.
Dylan Brock.
So the speculation is at some point we have to see what is going on with Dylan, and it might be this book. But if that's not enough, the cover B option, the Mary Jane variant, you got to check it out. Go to the Previews World, check that out on there. Make sure you get your order in, because that's a book that's not to be missed.
Yeah, Ji Hyung Lee did a beautiful job on that Venomized Mary Jane, which is always a cool one. Going over indie stuff, obviously Bloodshot 2 is coming up. If you like Bloodshot 1, which I know a lot of you bought, definitely get in your orders for issue number 2. We had things pushed back on I Make Boys Cry, White Widow, and the Giant Size Adventures of Markiplier. So if you want those books, get your orders in.
Get those in, yeah.
And you can adjust still. Obviously, big ones from Vault, which we were actually on the phone with the CEO of Vault right before we did this with Damian Wassel. So it was really, really cool of him, and thank you if you're watching this for giving us all the information.
Taking time out from New York Comic Con to talk to us real quick and answer our questions so we can get you the proper information. He
brought up that aside from the fact that we have Maul number 3 and Queen of Bad Dreams number 5 and Necromancer's Map 3, we have a lot of Vault stuff on the FOC this week. The big one is Plot was apparently their best-selling comic ever, and there's already a huge demand for Plot number 2. With Plot number 1 getting a second printing, which is a beautiful, beautiful EC homage variants, and all the Vault homage variants end up having a huge aftermarket value. They become really big deal things.
Look amazing.
But we actually got a chance to talk to Damian while he was sitting right now next to Tim Daniels. Tim did the cover alongside Josh. I'm gonna screw up Josh's name. I just screw up everybody at Vault's last name. I feel so horrible on this. But Tim did it along with Josh Hickson, I believe is it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's
Tim,
how I would say it.
So Tim Daniels. It's funny because Tim Daniels co-writing the plot also, and he's doing an amazing job. But he also did the art alongside Josh Hickson on the cover, which is a great, unique EC homage. And it's not actually an homage of any specific cover, as Tim was actually saying. Thankfully, he provided this info to us right before the live stream. It's just an homage on the style. Well, if you want to talk a little bit about the plot, I will get exactly what Tim set up.
Well, I'm just holding Matthias to this because this is the one, plot number 2 is the one where he personally guaranteed on our live stream on Wednesday night that this is the issue that gives you what you were waiting for at the end of plot number 1. And that really it would have been best to do it as one giant long issue, which would have been cool. But we didn't have to wait very long. Plot number 2 is coming out. We get to finally see how that story really ramps up. So I'm excited about that. It definitely has got the deep roots planted in from issue 1. So
I was super excited about it. I think it added a lot to the story. It really hooks you in. And to quote Tim directly, for the second printing number 1 cover, it is completely original. It's not a direct homage, just a tribute to the EC's house style. So you got that direct from Tim himself. I'm excited. Like, I hope all of you enjoyed Plot. I really hope that you guys, if you want, Tim gave us some signed posters. If you come grab a Plot issue number 1, we still have first printings available. You can get one of those posters signed when you pick it up. Yeah. Plot's awesome.
I thought that was an homage as well. Couldn't pin it, but it's great. Issue number 2's cover, it looks terrifying.
Yeah. We also got Relics of the Youth also coming from Vault.
Absolutely.
Some good stuff. But moving on, or no, go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about from Valiant. You got Roku number 1.
Yes. All right.
Which he's been very excited about. So I'll let him take it.
I'm a huge Ninja. I kid you not, our walls are painted Ninjak purple. We have that giant Ninjak Valiant convention scroll that they gifted us when we opened. I'm a huge Ninjak fan. I love them. And spinning out of Ninjak issue number 1 from the earlier series is Roku. She is a red-headed assassin who controls her hair, much like the Inhumans character Medusa, but her hair is like diamond razor. It will slit you open in a heartbeat, intense. She is one of the most badass female assassins. She's one of the most badass assassins ever in comics. And she's getting a brand new series, a 4-issue series by Cullen Bunn. I'm super hyped about this. This is going to be badass. Cullen Bunn did an amazing job with Punk Mambo. I can't wait to see him do an assassin in Roku. Yeah,
I got nothing else to add.
Yeah.
That said it all.
Some awesome covers.
Covers,
there is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 covers. One of them being a blank, but it should be a good one.
Those blank ones are fun, especially if you go to a lot of Comic Cons. You can try to get an artist to draw on them.
And we even have artists that we can put you in contact with that will draw on them for you. If you give them if you give us a desire of what you would like on your cover and which artist you would like, we can connect the two.
These Savage Shores.
Yeah, so we talked about the local comic shop day. Yeah, going back to Vault. It's all about Vault. We love Vault. So local comic shop day has a really cool These Savage Shores trade paperback that'll be coming out. We have the normal trade paperback that's on final order cut off today, and it looks like a very similar image. This is why. This is the reason we were talking with Damien earlier. The These Savage Shores cover that you are seeing is going to be the same for local comic shop day and the normal one. The big difference being it's a beautiful yellow. It's an amazing original cover that is going to be available in a few weeks over at the shop. That's the regular one. But local comic shop day, all that you see that is yellow is gold. So that will be a very limited edition one. We've already got our orders locked in. So if you need to get one of those, please tell me now. You're going to have to get money down now just so that way we can make sure it's set aside for you, because we're going to have a bunch of the normal These Savage Shore trades, but we're only going to have so many left available of the local comic shop day. I've had a lot of pre-orders on those, and I'm thankful for every single one of them. But yeah, if you want one of the beautiful gold trim ones, get your order in.
And the creator of this teased something on Instagram that we're all waiting. We're waiting for the big news, but usually
Ram
when
definitely talked it up.
Someone teases something on social media, you kind of know what that means. It's going to be picked up by some studio somewhere. So
yeah, I think Ram just got a fancy haircut. I was kind of a little shocked. He started trimming his long locks, but
it's going all Hollywood.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's going Hollywood. But you know what? When you go Vault, you go Hollywood.
Well deserved. The series is fantastic.
Yeah, it's an amazing comic. The reason why we love Vault is because they put out good material from Heathen to These Savage Shore, Fearscape. I'm just counting fingers off underneath the camera, but all of their books are absolutely amazing. These guys know how to put out good books, and they know how to sell their books too. They have a lot of really cool television and movie deals coming down the pipeline. They're going to blow up huge. I mean, I talked about this a few years ago with Valiant, and we're already seeing the Vin Diesel stuff that, played out at New York Comic Con the other day. We should have a trailer out for the public soon. It's exciting, awesome stuff with Hive Mind and Valiant. So can't wait to see all this stuff go big with Vault. And we told you here first, we're providing you with signed posters and comics and all sorts of stuff to get you in on Vault. Why are you not reading Vault? Come in, read Vault. It's amazing. We had the CEO in here talking it up to you guys. So Damian Wassel Jr. is just a phone call away. He's one of the most amazing guys. We have Nathan Gooden here locally, who signs a bunch of the comics because he draws so many of these great homage covers that are blowing up online. Get in on Vault now. Shall we wrap it up with just a little bit of the Action Lab Danger Zones and the Absolute Comics Group?
Sure.
Yeah. So White Widow, once again, shoved a bunch of covers on FOC. If you want specific covers, now's the time to check those out. And Zombie Tramp over at Action Lab has a ton of amazing covers for our classic Vince Hernandez story of a dead gal enacting revenge on the world that treated her poorly. So a lot of cover options on there, a lot of very sexy, very risque covers. So go to previewsworld.com/finalordersdue and check all that out. I believe that's it for everything this week on the Final Word Cutoff.
I believe so. The only thing I mentioned to you earlier that I was actually asking because it's not on Final Order Cutoff was the Mad Cave stuff. Because they do have that new book, and I'm trying to pull up the darn title. It's the Wolf Hunter one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the title right now.
And so that one, unfortunately, is not a Final Order item.
It's technically not a Final Order cutoff. But
yeah, but we do have our last chance of getting orders in. It's a complex thing. But, yes, if you're a fan of Mad Cave Studios or a lot of indie publishers that aren't part of the premier diamond system that does Final Order cutoff, just, get your orders in whenever you can. The sooner you can get them in, the better. We'll make sure we can get you whatever we can. People like Mad Cave Studios are really wonderful. They have a great relationship with us. So we will just we'll contact them direct.
I want to say it was Wolfenheart.
Wolfenheart, that's it.
For some reason, the internet has totally died where we're at. Yeah. So I don't know.
I hope that hasn't affected the live stream for you guys.
Hopefully we're still live and we're not just talking to ourselves.
That's what it is. No one's watching this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, try and get your orders in before Monday at 8 p.m. You can comment here. You can swing by the store. You can give us a call. You can email us at knowheregamesandcomics@gmail.com. That'll go directly to me, and I will get whatever orders you would like. You'll get them in whatever quantities, whatever specific. Richard does this every Monday, so he can tell you firsthand. That's how it gets done.
Yep. So I make sure that I go through it one last time, sometime on my lunch break, type it all in on my phone, and hit send to Matthias here at Knowhere, and he gets them all for me. So.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for watching. We know we ran a little long again, but we appreciate you guys, and we'll be back again next week for more of this.
Definitely. See you on Wednesday. Have a good evening.
See ya.